Hello. Today, I have an interesting topic for you all. History of Sign Language. I'll tell you all about when and how did sign language start. In ancient times, there were stone caves. During primitive times, humans wore a dress made of leaves. They used to hunt animals. At that time, how did they communicate? While hunting, primitive humans used different kinds of sounds. To send signals in order to communicate with each other. Primitive humans did not have any formal language to communicate with each other. They also used to use hand gestures to communicate. They also used to draw some pictures for communication purposes. As many centuries passed by, humans started to speak some words. To communicate with each other. Due to the development of spoken language, the usage of gestures and pictures faded. In 500 BC, there were three famous Greek philosophers. Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. They were interested in studying about deaf society at that time. Socrates felt that deaf people were intelligent. The deaf can be taught to write and speak with the help of hand gestures, facial expressions, and body languages. Plato wrote about deaf education and society. The third philosopher, Aristotle, believed that Earth was flat. The same person, Aristotle, opposed Socrates' suggestion and said that deaf were not intelligent and they cannot be educated. People believed Aristotle's theory on deaf education and they thought that it was impossible to educate deaf people. Such beliefs existed for 2000 years from 500 BC to 1500 AD. In this painful period, parents of deaf children were ashamed because society believes that deaf children brought bad luck. parents hid their deaf children in their house and they did not allow the deaf to go out of their home. Deaf people were not allowed to marry because society feared that deaf couples might give birth to deaf children if they married. Deaf people were not allowed to go out for attending any functions or programs. At that time, deaf people suffered a lot. I feel sad for them. In 685 AD, Archbishop of York, John Beverley, taught deaf children to speak. The deaf managed to communicate well. In 1600 AD, a famous Italian mathematician, Girolamo Cardano, gave birth to a deaf child. He worried about his deaf son's education. Cardano taught his deaf son with his own teaching methods. He was successful and became well educated. His deaf son later became a doctor. Wow, isn't that amazing? Around 1500 AD in Spain Royal Palace, many nobles had deaf children. The nobles worried that the deaf children were not able to inherit property because the deaf cannot read and write. As per the law in Spain, only the educated children should get property from their parents. The nobles called a monk, Pedro Ponce de Leon, and requested him to teach the deaf children to read and write. The monk accepted the request. The monk taught the deaf children to read and write. They were well educated. The nobles were happy. The nobles passed the property to the deaf children. In 1620 AD, another Spanish monk, Juan Pablo Bonet, taught deaf students to read and write. During his teaching, he invented hand signs representing alphabets. He created hand shapes for the alphabets. He drew pictures of hand signs in his book. The picture on his manual alphabet book can be viewed on the screen. He was the first person to publish a book on hand signs. This is the first part of the history of sign language. I will make one more video on the history of sign language part 2 next time. Please subscribe to this channel to see my new videos. Thank you.